Hello everyone, thank you for joining us for this presentation. We'd like to introduce a special assignment module that we developed at the Faculty of Arts here in Brno, and we'll just guide you through the process of setting it up and showing what it can do and why we actually set up a new assignment module apart from the usual standard core Moodle assignment. I called the session a module for tutored text production and work revision because we use it mainly for academic writing, actually tutoring and scaffolding. So you can ask about anything that you're really interested in, and I'll start with the overview of our session. So first, just a few words about our Moodle environment, about the university, really very short. Then a few words about the normal assignment module, so that we get some context. Then major characteristics of our echo assignment. Then something about setup and ways to use the module. We'll then switch to our Moodle site just to show you the main features and settings and things like that, and there'll be some time for question and answers. So first, just to introduce ourselves, this is our faculty of Arts of the Masaryk University in Brno. Brno is a small town. The global scale, I mean small, it's quite big in the Czech Republic, but it's about 500,000 people, and there's a major university, Masaryk University, and we're working at the Faculty of Arts, where we have our Moodle site. Moodle functions as the faculty-wide e-learning environment. There's actually one other e-learning environment at the faculty, but here at the university, but at the Faculty of Arts, we are using Moodle for quite some time now. We actually started in 2004 with Moodle 1.3, and now we're on Moodle 2.3. We haven't upgraded to 2.4 or 2.5, but we are planning to do it over summer now. I just wanted to point out that the echo assignment is nothing new actually with our site, because quite early on teachers demanded an assignment module with this functionality, so it started actually in 2005. But with the change and with the upgrade to 2.2 and 2.3, we needed to revise the module actually from scratch almost. So we added some new functionalities, and I'll be presenting today the new version. So I won't be talking about the old one, but just to put everything into context, that really the functionalities and the things with tutoring, text production, and teaching academic writing with this particular module has a few years of history now at our faculty. So this is what our Moodle site looks like, and if you log in to the iMoot course of our presentation, there's the link and also some access for you as a teacher, as a student, if you would like to try the module out. You can do that, and we'll be doing it later on during this presentation. So let's just move on to the actual module, and we'll start with a very short overview of the standard assignment module. I picked two main features of the core assignment in Moodle, and this is the first one is the assignment module allows teachers to collect work from students, review it, and provide feedback including grades. So there's the possibility to submit a file or online text and things like that, and the teacher can review it, can place some feedback, and put some grades for the actual student. And each submission is visible only to the teacher and the particular student who submitted the assignment. So this is the standard functioning of the assignment module. And we built the echo assignment based on this core module, but we changed these two features a bit so that it suits our needs and the needs of our teachers. So what we actually did, or just to stress the main things when you teach academic writing, what you actually need. The students usually, when working on a piece of text, they need to revise and edit several versions of the same text. So they send the first draft to the teacher, and then the teacher goes through that, sends it back with some comments. The student uploads a new version, and this could go on during several steps before the final version is uploaded and accepted. So that's one part of the tutored instruction. Also, the teacher needs to review comments and feedback files, probably, for each of the versions submitted by the particular student, and this has to be stored somewhere. And also, very often, and not only with academic writing, but also with translation training and similar things, teachers usually use model texts, and these can be good examples and bad examples as well, by other students, so that they share some points within the class, within the group, and the students can learn from each other's mistakes and each other's good points. So these were like the three major things that we wanted to implement in the module, so the teachers can really use it to do these three things. And I was talking about the main features of the core assignment module. So we changed the two. So the echo assignment module can separately store several submissions and resubmissions by each student, along with a full history of grades, teacher comments, feedback files, and so on. So both the teacher and the student can go back to the previous version, see what the comments were, and what the marking was, and so on. So review the process of writing a better piece of text. And the module also makes it possible to display student submissions and teacher feedback, meaning teacher comments and feedback files among the whole group, among the whole course. So there are several settings, and we'll get to that in a while, by which the teacher can determine when the other students will see other submissions, and if it will be anonymous or not, and so on. We'll get to that. So two main features: storing submissions and resubmissions separately with all the feedback, grades, and so on, and the ability to publish the submissions among the whole group. And just to add something about the new development of the core assignment, in Moodle 2.5, and I'm sure you are aware of that, the first part of our assignment actually, or the features, this was already implemented in 2.5 in some way. So now in 2.5 you can actually store several submissions and resubmissions. So this somehow converges with our module, but the second feature is not yet available in the core package. So we'll be trying in the future to somehow merge it together, but this is our future plan, not the current state of events. Anyway, let's move on. So those were the general features, let's say, and some specific features of the module. We made advanced grading options available, and advanced grading is stored as well. So if you're using rubrics, the whole rubric and all the comments by teachers is stored for each version. Given the fact that the student submits several versions of the module, the teachers can somehow determine the final grade, and we implemented 4 options similar to quiz. We'll get to that. And then the submission publishing options, so when the other submissions should be published among the group, and which submissions actually should be published, and if the publishing should be anonymous or not. And we also implemented bulk submission downloads, because some of the teachers download the whole bunch of student submissions and then grade it at home, perhaps on their own computers, and then upload the feedback files for that. So these are the major let's say, features of that are somehow different from the normal assignment module. Now let's just go through some screenshots showing the differences in the setup, in the settings. And I'll be showing just the parts that differ from the usual assignment module. So here you can see the grading method for counting the final grade was added. This is by default last submission, but it can be the first submission, it can be the mean of all submissions, and it can be the highest grade achieved. But usually last submission is the one that counts. So this is the part specifying the grade of the module. And this is a completely new part of the setting form, and this determines when and which submissions should be published among the other students, among the whole class. And, some publish submissions options, publish feedback options, and publication time. And if we go through these settings one by one, the first setting says when a particular submission should be displayed to the group. So if we select no, nothing will be actually visible. There are 2 other options after submission. So once the student submits an assignment, it gets published, it gets displayed among the group. There's also the option after acceptance, because the assignments can be rejected or accepted, and you can base the display options, the publishing options upon this acceptance. So if you choose after acceptance, only those papers that are deemed final or accepted by the teacher are actually published to the rest of the class, so that the students see only the final versions, the revised versions, and not the drafts actually. Then we have the publish feedback options. As I said already, the teacher can provide the whole group with all the feedback files and feedback comments that were attached to the individual submissions. Usually, feedback is quite individual, so probably the teachers won't be using this option very frequently, but in specific cases like translation training, this is actually very useful because it's not only the student translations that's interesting for the other students, but it's actually also the teacher comments and the revised feedback files by the teacher, because there are some comments that can be relevant to other students as well, because some of the features recur among students, or some of the mistakes are made by many students, and so by publishing feedback comments and feedback files, the students can learn from each other, from each other's mistakes. So this is publishing of feedback. And the last one, publication time. This says when the link to see other submissions will be visible. So the first one, anytime, says that I, as a student, I can see the other submissions at any time. So even before I submit my own work. The second option is after submission, meaning I have to first submit my own work and then I can see other submissions. And after due date, that's quite obvious. So when the deadline is over, I can see the submissions. Teachers can combine these settings so that they only show, for example, final versions and only after the deadline has passed, so that the students don't actually use this opportunity to copy each other's work and so on. But it can also be used as a storeroom for different materials. Let's say if the students submit, I don't know, source texts and so on, and the publication time is set to any time, so they can immediately see what the other students submitted and so on. So by playing with these settings, there are several options available, and the teachers can adjust to the situation they need. So much for the setting part, and let's move on to the workflow, as we call it with our colleagues. So what's the procedure? What's the point of using echo assignment instead of the normal module? At least in Moodle 2.3, where the resubmission storing wasn't yet available in the core module. So the teacher first sets up the assignment, and the student just waits for the description and for the assignment to open. After that, the student submits the first draft and waits for the teacher to evaluate it and to send some comments. So the teacher looks at the first draft of the student, provides feedback, and perhaps rejects it. So the student can then resubmit a revised version, a new version of the file or of the online text, taking into account teachers' feedback comments and other things, other kinds of feedback. So the student revises the assignment according to teacher's feedback and submits a new version of the assignment. And again, teacher evaluates the second version, provides feedback, and either accepts it or rejects it. So there can be several rounds of this ping pong, let's say, so that the student react to teacher's comments and in this way they are tutored to upload better version each time they resubmit until at the end student gets the final grade for the assignment and the process is over. So this is the first part, the first functioning of the module, the resubmission option. As I pointed out already, all the versions are stored with their feedback comments, feedback files, the grade that was assigned to the individual versions. So after the whole process, both the teacher and the student can revise the whole workflow and all the stages. So let's now look at the submission interface, and I'll just point out a few things that we changed so that we could adjust the assignment module into the echo assignment form. This is the student's view of the submission form, which is actually the same. There was no change, at least for the first submission. So this is what you know from the normal module, from the normal assignment module. So the student's view, by clicking on at submission, the student submits the first version of the assignment. If we switch to the teacher's view of the grading summary table, we had to add some columns so that, and some other things that show where the individual versions of each student, by each student, are stored. So first of these, assignment status. As I said, you can, as a teacher, you can either accept the assignment or reject it. So with the second student, you can see that the assignment, the work was rejected. So at this point, the student can submit a new version when the previous one gets rejected. So that's assignment status. And actually, the teacher has to assign the status every time he or she evaluates the assignment, because otherwise it won't let you save the grades. You have to say whether the work was rejected or accepted at each stage. Then you've got the submission grade, and this is the grade column says what the grade for the current submission is. It's not the final grade. The final grade is in another column, and this is the grade for the current version. Then you can see the number of versions submitted in the other column. And in the overview grading table, the teacher always sees the last submission, the current submission, and you can see the link here that leads to a page showing all the versions with all the history of grades and comments. So if the teacher wants to see the whole process, they have to click on Show All Versions link. As I already said, the current submission grade is in the grade column, and the final grade is in the column on the right, showing the final grade according to the settings. So this can be the first submission, this can be the final submission, it can be the mean of all submissions, and so on. So this is the grading summary table from the teacher's point of view. So a few add-ons were inserted. If the teacher clicks on the icon going to the grading table for each student, this is what they can see. A few things added here. Again, immediately the teacher sees the latest version, the current version submitted by the student. And below that, there's the number of submissions, the total number of submissions, and the link to showing all versions of the assignment by the particular student. At the bottom, there's the grade, which is the grade for the current submission, and also the drop-down menu to select the particular status, so either accepted or rejected, depending whether this is, according to the teacher, whether this is the final version or the work needs some revising and resubmission. And the teacher always sees the final grade for the assignment, which is counted towards according to the settings. And of course, the teacher can attach feedback comments and also feedback files for each of the versions. Now, if we switch to this student view of the submission status table, so once the student submits and his work gets rejected, this is what he can see. So again, there's the latest version of his work, also the link to all the previous versions, which is displayed on a separate page, and we'll get to that in a minute. And at the bottom, teacher's feedback. So the status, whether his work was rejected or accepted at this stage. If the work was accepted, actually, there won't be any add next submission button because the process will be over. It will be a final version. So the button add next submission only appears once the previous version was rejected and the student needs to upload a new version or a revised version of the assignment. And this is the page showing all the history of the assignment of the individual versions from the student's point of view. So there are the actual files provided by the student. For each of the version, there's this the history of the grade, of feedback comments, and feedback files if provided by the teacher. The teacher always has the option to provide feedback files, or nothing like that, just a grade. So this is it. Let's now try the live demonstration. So I'll try to share my desktop with you and show you the assignment, the echo assignment on our Moodle site, and we'll go through the settings again using teacher and student roles. So let me now switch to our demo course in our Moodle site. And you can access this demo course yourself. The links and the login information is provided in our iMoot course. So later on you can actually play with it and try it out yourself. So now I'm here as a demo teacher, so in the teacher's role, and there are several eco assignments. So I'll go to the first one of these research paper, and first of all, I'll go through the settings so that you can see how it looks actually. So the settings form looks very similar to the usual assignment. So there are some general features, assignment settings, specifying the deadlines and so on. Then there's the submission settings, and we actually deleted the draft capability because it didn't really make much sense to have the draft and the resubmission option as we saw it. So we get rid of the draft, and you can use either file or line text submissions. So this is one change. Then you have the publication settings here. So you can choose all of the features that I talked about. So just to revise quickly, the first one, publish submission, says which files, which submissions should be displayed. So whether it should be immediately after any submission or only after accepting the file as a final version. And you can choose whether, as a teacher, whether you want to show any feedback files or files with comments. And then you can set the publication time. So that's the moment when the students will see the link to other submissions by their colleagues, by their fellow students. So anytime, whenever I go to the main page of the module, I can see the link after my own submission and after the deadline has passed for this particular assignment. Then there's the grade options, and the thing we added is the grading method to count the final grade. So it's last submission, first submission, average grade, and highest grade. But the default option is last submission, because usually the teacher evaluates the whole module based on the final version of the student assignment. And that's it. That's what we changed in the setting form. And we also added one activity completion option, and this one requires acceptance. So the activity is marked completed when the submission is assigned the accepted status. So save and display. And I'm still here as the teacher, so I can go to the grading table and see what we added here. I've got 3 students here. 2 of them already submitted some assignments, some versions, and the third one hasn't submitted anything yet. You can see that the first student already got accepted. His final work got accepted. The second one was rejected, so the student has to resubmit. And I can see the history here under this link, under these links. So for the first student, this is what I can see. So these are his submissions, and teacher who graded the assignments, the final grade, and some comments, and this is the same for the previous version. So as a teacher, I can see what I commented on in the previous submission, and then see whether the student actually improves a bit, or whether he adjusted to my comments, and so on. So this is the submission history from the teacher's point of view. So let me now switch to the student's view, which is somewhere is here. So the orange environment is for the student now. And I'll go to the same module. So this was the research paper. I'm going in, and nothing has been submitted for this assignment. So I add the first submission as a student. To just find something in my, using the file picker on my desktop. So my first research paper, upload, and now I have to click submit assignment. We also added this pop-up window because students were clicking on the button without actually submitting anything, and they couldn't submit anything else. So we added this confirmation message. So confirm submission. And as a student now, I can see that my work was submitted for grading, and I can see the latest version, the first version here. If I switch back to the teacher's view and go to the grading table again, I can see that the demo student already submitted something, so I go and grade him. And I can see the file here. It's the usual form, and I can assign a grade for this submission. Let's say 50. I will reject it. It's revision. And of course, I would include longer comment normally, and I can also upload feedback file, probably commenting directly in the Word file on the points that I want the student to revise and so on. So save changes. So now I can see that the demo student has the status rejected. So if I once again go to the student's view and reload the page, I can see that my first version got rejected. I can see the comment here, and the final grade and the recent grade here as well. And I've got the Add Next Submission button here. So now I can add another submission. Just quickly go through this process again. Yes, confirm submission. Now I can see that I already have 2 versions for this particular assignment here. And from the teacher's point of view, if we reload the page, again, submitted for grading without any status assigned. All the history here. Now I can go and grade the student again and assign him 80 out of 100, accepted. We're done, and that's it. So that's the process of submitting and resubmitting, and now the student got his work accepted. So this is the process of submitting and resubmitting a particular piece of work, and the number of steps of rounds is not limited, so it's actually upon the teacher to decide when this is the final version and I'll accept it, and the student doesn't have to resubmit, upload a new version. I'll now switch to the student view again, and just to have a quick look on the publication settings. When, as a student, I can see the work by my colleagues, by my fellow students. This is these two modules. The first one says all submissions of other students published even before students' own submission. So this is the setting anytime with the publication time. And when I go into this particular module, you can see that I haven't submitted anything as a student. I've got the first submission button here and no submission history. But I can see the show other student submissions link here. So this is the setting when I don't have to do anything and I can see what the others published. If I click on that, I can see the work by my fellow student, the other two. Again, only the current version is available through this interface, and the and the teacher can decide whether the submissions will be anonymous or not, and whether the teacher feedback will be anonymous or not. So this is the option where everything is visible, so I can see who submitted what and who commented on what. If we go back to the other demo module, which says accepted submissions of other students published after students' own submission, meaning I have to submit first before I can see anything. So I can't see really the link here, but when I add my submission, now the link becomes visible and I can access the other student work. So these are the options. Of course, there are several reasons for choosing one or the other. If, as I already said, when you want to use this module as a storage room for student source text, for example, reference works and things like that, you can set it to any time so that the students have everything available right away. If you need the students to submit their work first before they can see your comments that you've submitted for other students' work, you would probably use after submission option. So the students have to submit their own assignment and then they can see what the others did. I will now switch back to the teachers interface and just quickly show you how the advanced grading methods are being stored with all the versions, all the different versions. So grading, and this got the rubrics included. So here's the link to the submission history, and as you can see, we also implemented the possibility to store the whole rubric form with each version, with all the comments and all the gradings. One last thing, we are also using this echo assignment for audio submissions. I'm not sure whether you are familiar with the Nanogong module, but this is one of the options, and we implemented this one because for some reason Nanogong was not stable that much that we wanted. So we can now use the echo assignment for submitting audio recordings. So from the teacher's point of view, if the student submits an MP3 file, the teacher can play it directly through this grading table, and also the teacher can upload audio feedback. And to do this, we needed to implement or install a new repository accessible through the file picker. And this is it's the media capture repository. I'll show you that from the student's point of view. So if I want to submit an audio assignment and I don't want to record my MP3 file outside Moodle, I can do it right away through Moodle with this repository, which is media capture. You can just quickly record something, save it, and it generates an MP3 file which can be then uploaded as your assignment. And again, you can play it right here. So that's it for the live demonstration. I'll turn my desktop sharing off. So, some final comments, because we're approaching the time allotted for this presentation. I've just included 3 model examples how we use this particular module. So one of them is thesis supervision. For this particular type of assignment, the first capability is very useful. So submission, resubmission, and the process of actually commenting and revising your work as a student is quite useful. So that's thesis supervision. Bachelor master thesis are submitted and worked through using this module a lot. Then I already mentioned translation training, for which the other capability is very useful, and that's displaying what other people did and what the teacher commented upon for the other students, so that they can somehow avoid the other people's mistake in the future. And I quickly mentioned speaking practice, or the possibility to upload audio files, and we're just trying this out. We implemented that 3 months ago, and we switched from Nanogong to this interface. So we'll get some feedback in a few weeks or months, I guess. But the process is the same, but you're not submitting text files, but audio files. And you can choose whether you want to submit, or you want to record your audio files directly through Moodle, or you can use your desktop application, upload the final MP3 versions. That's the choice that the students have. Future perspectives. We were talking about some new features that we would like to implement in our team. It would be really nice if we were able to implement a feature that would somehow compare the individual versions by the very same student. So tracking changes or something like that. That you can do, I don't know, in a wiki module, or through MediaWiki and things like that, through Google Documents and things like that, so that you can see what the student actually changed in the revised version. We would like to implement bulk feedback uploads, because many teachers just download the whole set of student submissions, grade it, comment on it in the files, and then upload the files back as their feedback. So it would be very useful if this could be done in a bulk form, not one by one, but as one zip file. We need to add the group submission options, which is available in Moodle for the normal assignment module, starting from 2.4. And our plan is to cooperate somehow, if possible, with the people who are responsible for assignment module development. Maybe some of the features that we implemented in our own module could be useful for other users as well, and it would be easier to have one module and not to keep 2 separate modules. So although we kept the module for some years now, it'll be easier and more straightforward to have just one assignment module with all the capabilities that our teachers need. So if this was possible, it would be great, and we'll try to get in touch with the people responsible for these parts of Moodle. Okay, so this is it. I hope my demonstration was clear enough, and as I said, you can actually try it out yourselves. The link and the login information is in our iMoot course, and any questions and comments are welcome. So thank you for listening to me for almost an hour, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Peter, I'd like to take an opportunity to thank you for your very comprehensive demonstration on the Echo assignment. Looks like you guys have done a lot of work on this. How long did it take you to get the final solution?
As I said, thank you. Thank you for appreciation. We started with the old Echo assignment really early on with Moodle 1.4, like 1.5, I think. But the major change came with the upgrade to Moodle 2.0 or 2.2, and we worked on that for, I don't know, half a year maybe, testing it out on some teachers that agreed to test it, and then just trying to weed out the things that were not working actually. But we redesigned the interface a bit. I mean, from the original module, and we added some of the publishing options. But yeah, like half a year it took to redesign the module into 2+, Moodle 2+, let's say.
Okay, excellent. It's an excellent presentation. Thank you very much, and on behalf of the iMoot community, we thank you for that. And as you say, this will be recorded for others to view at a later stage as well. Thank you.
Thank you too, and thank you for listening. Bye.